Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the back office. I'm sorry I haven't been posting many non-video game related videos recently. That's because video game videos are very easy to make and I've been a bit poorly and very lazy, so that's what I did. So I just wanted to show you something today. I've started a new little project. My son recently has been into at Christmas he wanted a rainbow projected on the wall. He's into the lights and the spectrum and the colours and things like that. So I was in ASDA today and for £10 I bought one of these, and I paid a little bit over the odds for this, but it's a 3-watt LED tricolour LED with little remote control, and I'm hoping it's RF. As I'm reading on the back, I can't see any indication whether it's RF or not, how it works, but doesn't matter. This will allow him to turn the light on and off and go through a various spectrum of colours from that. Now the issue with this is it's obviously a GU10 fitting, and most fittings in the UK, especially if it's an older property, will be Bayonet style. Now as I'd just thrown one of these out, it sort of gave me an idea, and that was really, if I dismantle this portion here, I'm pretty sure I can make an adapter and fit a GU10 bulb into a bayonet fitting. So let's see if we can get into this little beastie here. It's a crystal light GU10 colour changing LED lamp with a remote control. Interesting. So there's the lamp. It's a nice metal bodied lamp. Seems a reasonable quality. And there's the GU10 pins. So what I'm going to do is put the vice grips around this body and give it a crank and see if we can split it. Again, take a lot of care, you don't want to break the tubes. Okay, so just to show you there, got a nice split in the case here, so you can see the PCB in there, so this gives us a good way in. So we can separate that out now. Just go into manual focus so we don't have to keep messing around. So what we'll do is it's held in with some fine wires there into the bottoms of the vacuum tube. So we'll just cut these wires so we can dispose of that end responsibly. There we go. So we can get that bit into the recycling bin with all of its mercury and chemicals, not have to worry about it. So secondly, we have the PCB and all the gubbins therein. It's like a transformer coil, there's a nice cap there. Might want to keep that for later. We'll just snip those away, get rid of that. And then finally inside, it looks like it's potted, so that's a bit of a downer for us, so we might have a bit of trouble getting that apart, but I'll just carry on with my vice grips and see where we go. So I just wanted to show you this assembly actually unscrews rather surprisingly. There's a nice threaded bit there with a lens. Inside you can see the PCB, and there's a little bit of heat sink compound on the back, thermal compound on the back of the LED there, and the two wires, and I suspect these are the two wires that go straight through. I don't know if there's anything in this body, but I can actually unscrew it and have a quick look, because I need to remove these, and rather than just yank them off and maybe damage something internally, I'll just explore that a little bit more carefully, because I want to basically solder onto these two into the hole on my new fitting now. Yeah, so we can just pop that over. If we can get the two exposed wires, we've pretty much done. We can just put a bit of aldite or something to hold that in together. Shouldn't get too hot, it's still an LED at the end of the day. So I'm just going to have a quick look in there and let's see what we find. Yep, and as expected, here's the actual transformer assembly for that. So this metal top is basically a heatsink for the LED, and then inside the body itself with a bit of white silicone is the transformer, but it's not adhering too well to the sides. I suspect it's just to stop it vibrating, so I'm going to see if I can just slide, I'm going to see if I can just slide this assembly out. There might be a tiny bit of play on the wires on the end. Okay, so I've got my handy tweezers, and I can see in there that there is actually a loose red wire, so popping that out. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. There's plenty of wire there. So really, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it somewhere near the end so I can pull some through, and we'll conclude making our adapter. I just want to show you something, because if you buy the same assembly and you intend to do the same thing, you can see there's plenty of red wire here. So if you don't want to disassemble it like I have, simply get your pliers on the end of these studs, and if you apply a little bit of a bending force, so I'm going to just be trying to move it this way, you'll see that they will come out quite nicely. Yeah, you can pull that wire straight out and then poke that through your bayonet fitting and solder to it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. Unfortunately for me, I have to reassemble this whole assembly first. Before I pop the lid of this, I just thought I'd show you that it looks like all of the electronics that control this light are actually located in this board, and in fact there's surprisingly little of it. There's nothing on the other side, so there's a nondescript 8-pin chip underneath this crystal, so I'm guessing it's probably a PIC 12 clone. You've got here, I'm just going to push this back so it's not wobbling around so much. You've got an infrared receiver here, and there's your LED, so it's nice and simple. There's lots of modes, so basically the PIC in here is doing all of the work decoding the infrared signal and displaying all the various modes that the remote control has on it. So now I'm just going to finally assemble this all back up and do the final soldering on the bayonet fitting. Okay, so now I've soldered the two wires in. You can see there's plenty of opportunity here to inspect inside here to make sure it's nice and safe and no exposed wires, which there isn't. So just a quick test fit. Yes, it's nice and tight, so I'm going to put some adhesive now in here and just bond this nicely to that. Okay, so the adhesive's done its job. It's not particularly pretty because I've used a hot melt. You could use an aldite, but it's done its job. It's very firmly locked that in place now, and just to tidy it up I'm going to use a couple of wraps of insulation tape. I'm not that worried about this being a thermoplastic and melting at a lower temperature than you'd want, because I don't foresee this fitting getting particularly hot. So I'm going to monitor that, but I really don't think it's going to get hot enough to make this an issue. So between this and the insulating tape tidied up, I think it's going to look fine and actually operate fine. I'll just tape that up now. Now, according to the instructions, this should last 20,000 hours, so these few minutes spent doing this modification should not need to be repeated too frequently. Right, I think we're ready to test that. So we've got our lamp, we've got its remote control, we'll remove its tab here, there we go, and I'm going to find a suitable light fitting.